work a lot with nutrition and lab testing and stuff like that, and I just want to share with you guys. So first and foremost, CYA, I'm not a doctor, I'm not here to diagnose or do anything like that. A trainer, check practitioner, work a lot with nutrition and lab testing and stuff like that. And I just want to share with you guys today some of the newest stuff. I read books all the time, some of the newest stuff, some old stuff, some really, really old stuff. And I'm trying to put together my own philosophy, my own thoughts with these things. And I'm going to present some of these things that are pretty new to me and maybe new to my staff too today. So you guys have been around for a while. You remember this crazy lady, stop being sanity lady, the 90s ladies. So hopefully today we're going to do what Albert Einstein said and stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So some of these things that we're going to go through may be a little counterintuitive, but to me, I've looked up all the science, all the research. I have hundreds and thousands of articles proving some of the stuff that I'm going to say. So if you want any documentation of anything I say, if I'm off a little bit on my numbers, I can give you the document I'm referencing. It's hard to recall the things off the cuff. So the purpose of today is to learn something new. Don't know if you guys know there's 3 levels of consciousness, and we're going to try to hit into all 3 of those today. So the first level of consciousness is stuff that you know you know. So all of you come today with know the way things are, and you're comfortable with that. And most of you are probably here because you know there's things that you don't know, and you're trying to get educated on those things. I think a lot of this stuff you're going to realize that you don't know, you just never even thought of it, and you didn't think that was actually a real thing. And that's at like the unconscious level. We want to bring this to your subconscious, so this way you can consciously act on these things. And if we look at how we learn, you need to become aware first. That's what we're going to do today, make you aware of some new things. Hopefully you guys research on your own and gain more knowledge. To do any of these health and fitness and exercise, all those different things, is a skill that we have to work on every single day. And I like to think that these skills compound daily. So every day that you do things right is going to compound, like interest does in the bank, but not yearly, like daily. So every single day gets better and better and better the longer you do it. And then as soon as you screw up, it's going to backtrack you a little bit. I always believe in 80-20. So, if you're doing things 80% of the time, if you backtrack a little bit at 20% of the time, your body can make up for it and keep going. But eventually we're trying to get to mastery. And to me, mastery is optimal wellness. And there's many definitions of optimal wellness. For me, it's basically to go into old age, medication-free, with the full use of your faculties, with your body and your mind, which today is not something that's very common. All my grandparents died very young, so I'm very into this stuff because I want to be around for my kids' kids. So that's kind of my drive, my dream in doing all this stuff. One point I just want to make right in the beginning, you need to get healthy to lose weight. How many people are here to learn how to lose weight? Get chicks, raise your hand. A couple of you. Most people think that they have to lose weight to get healthy, but that won't work. It only works usually for a month, maybe 2 months, 6 months at the most, and then your body starts to backtrack and basically it realizes that you're starving yourself, you're deprived of nutrients, and you're unhealthy. So we're going to get rid of that. Theory and try to get everybody healthy today. The title of this talk was Your Body Never Lies. So we all understand that there's different body language. You guys are all sitting here today, and some of you are spaced out already, and some of you are sitting at attention. So I want you all to sit up real tall, try not to lean, because your brain works better at inoptimal conditions. So if you're sitting here tall, you're going to get more blood flow up to your brain so you can hear and see and listen to everything that I'm saying. There's a bunch of scientists that have studied body language. If you watched any of the debates and stuff like that, they're watching the body language of the people presenting. These are things that I look at when I sit down with my clients and sit down with people. What exactly is going on? And you may be telling me something, but I'm looking at your body and what your body is telling me. Because you probably heard this, the movie with Will Smith. One word, I can't think of Hitch. The movie Hitch, he talks about body language. So 93% of all communication is from body language, 7%. This is Dr. Moravian's study. Somebody else referenced his work, but they referenced it wrong. So if you look it up in Wikipedia, it's wrong. I I wrote in Wikipedia saying that it's wrong, but they haven't responded yet. This is Dr. Murray, who did this work in the late 60s, not the 70s. So that's me being nerdy. So what is your body trying to tell you? What is your body trying to communicate with you that you're not really aware of? And how does your body communicate what's going on? It does this through several different things. There's different reactions to the food, to our life that we deal with every day. Certain feelings and emotions we have could be directly tied to stress in our life. That's not supposed to go yet. Sorry. There's lots of animated stuff. So our feelings, our emotions get tied into a number of different things. Like I had all you guys sit up and change your posture, so this way you're in a better learning environment. So when I see somebody like, oh, I feel fine, I'm happy today, I know they're lying to me. Their body language is saying that they're not. I don't know why this thing's weird. Go back. This last one. Oh, your body fat. We're going to talk a lot about body fat because where you store body fat tells you what hormones are off, and those hormones can really dictate some other things that are going on in your life that we could talk about, or not talk about, and deal with it otherwise. So if you guys were to strip down in your mind and think about what you look like in the mirror, your body's reacting to that lifestyle that you're living right now, your diet, your exercise program. So when I do the body fat pinches over like all the scans and all that stuff, there's a reason why I do that. It's one, because, like the title of this thing, your body never lies. So when I pinch body fat in different spots, I know your hormones could be these are usually the missing links to a lot of weight loss plans that are out there. They're very generic. Every person here has an individual diet. If you were an identical twin, your identical twin could have a completely different diet just based on emotional state. Usually in relationships, especially identical twins, there's one introvert and one extrovert. The extrovert's going to have different diet requirements than the introvert just because of their, their mental faculty or whatever, their personality. So I like to look at cause and effect. Most science is cause and effect. Something caused this, and this is the effect. Most medicine is the effect. I hurt my shoulder mountain biking. I got my shoulder fixed. What caused me to hurt my shoulder? Mountain biking. So I stopped mountain biking. I didn't want to hurt my shoulder anymore. But what did the doctor say? He's like, oh, I hurt your shoulder. I fixed it. He didn't tell me to stop mountain biking. I'm here to help you guys make better choices so we can fix what's causing the problems in our lives so they don't have all the effects. Or those effects are what causes disease. So this is a very complicated graph, all endocrinology and a whole bunch of stuff. You don't need to know much of any of this. This is only part of the puzzle. There's many, many hormones. I do a lot of hormone testing on people, and I try to make them understand, but I don't expect them to fully understand this. I just want you guys to look at these two hormones, cortisol and DHEA. Cortisol is your stress hormone. Everybody's heard of cortisol, that's the belly fat hormone. Your DHEA is a precursor to all your steroid hormones. So that's the precursor to testosterone and different types of estrogen. When those two things are out of balance, any one of these things could be off. All these things. So if anybody here have more weight on them than they want, have a thyroid issue, blood sugar's too high, they're forgetting things, their memory's off, their nervous connections. I deal with a kid with MS. We're dealing with his cortisol and DHEA to help him with his nervous system. For me, muscle integrity, like I tend to pull muscles all the time, and it's because I know my cortisol and DHEA are off. I'm always trying to fix that, so I stop pulling muscles. So there's tons of things on here that are affected by our hormones. That's just two hormones. So think of all the other hormones that were on that chart before. If any one of those are off, they can affect your body. Alright. So there was a study done in 1996. Basically looked at somebody's body fat through a DEXA scan. Now there's also a low energy X-ray scan that you can do. You usually get it done right up the street here at Open MRI. It's like $100. You'll look just like that. Hopefully you don't look just like this, but you'll have a scan that looks similar to this. Basically, this researcher found that where you store body fat is directly related to the hormones that are off. So if you store body fat in a specific spot that's different than other spots, we know what estrogen is, what hormone's off. So if your cortisol is off, you're going to get belly fat. This has been in the news a lot because the fat that's in between your organs is very detrimental to those organs and leads to disease. So when you have a belly sticking out, I know your cortisol is off. I don't know what's causing your cortisol to be off. All I know is cortisol is off. So we look at all the different spots on the body. You have fat through your ribs here, thyroid. You have fat on the back of your arm. It's usually low testosterone. Cortisol is belly button. Insulin is love handles. Estrogen, some women have too much fat around their thighs. They blame it on genetics, and I blame it on estrogen because the science says genetic, or that it's not genetic, that it's estrogen. Have you guys heard of the Human Genome Project? That thing mapped out all the genes. Do you know that like 90% of our genes are bacterial genes? So, I was at Rutgers University when I was doing this study, and I was in my genetics class, and they were like just coming out with the results, and they're like, this is weird. Because when we finished the Human Genome Project, it didn't really say all that much that could help us. They figure 2% to maybe 5% of most diseases that are out there are genetic. These 98 to 95% are all environment. They're all hormones being off. That one chart I showed you with those two hormones being off cause all those different things. So if you don't have a genetic thing that you would know at birth, it's usually lifestyle that's off. It's usually your nutrition that's off, or your exercise is off. It's usually people that overtrain all the time, and it throws these hormones off. If you do too much cardio releases cortisol. Most people want to do cardio to burn belly fat. But in the end, it raises the cortisol, which raises your belly fat. So what do you think I would do as a trainer? Tell you to do more cardio? No, I'm going to tell you to stop doing cardio because if you're storing too much body fat, cause effect, get rid of the cause. That's one cause. That's somebody that overtrains all the time. Kim Kardashian, she has big butt. Big butt fat is insulin-like growth factor 1, which deals with blood sugar handling and low growth hormone and some other things. So just to go through this real quick, you got belly fat. You look like one of these people. One of the stages. So if you look at the skinnier guys, the heavier guys, the skinnier woman, the heavier woman, these are all stages of cortisol being too high. When cortisol is high, your body's stressed, your gut stops working because that's not very important. Digestion is not important when you're running away from the tiger, or you're trying to chase down the tiger. When you release cortisol, blood tends to go towards your arms and legs and away from the center because that makes you run away. So digestion usually deteriorates over time, and when your digestion deteriorates, you end up getting leaky gut. Leaky gut, your small intestine, your gut is mostly your small intestine. There's like the epidemic of flu right now. To me, there's an epidemic of leaky gut because of stress from all the holidays. Not that the flu is always around, it's always here, around the clock, all season long. But most of us had a lot of fun in the last couple of weeks, and partied at New Year's, partied, and now our immune systems and our guts, our stress levels are high, everything's off, and now we're susceptible to a virus. So the liver gets clogged because your small intestine ends up separating due to inflammation, and then there's a blood flow from your gut right to your liver, your bad portal vein. So if you keep shoveling crap, literally in this case, into your liver, it gets clogged like a vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner bag. And if your vacuum cleaner bag is filled and you keep vacuuming, it doesn't pick up anything. We don't have that, doesn't pick up anything system because it's in your blood. So it passes your liver and circulates around your body. So there's a lot of scientists saying that causes autoimmune disease. Some scientists now are saying heart diseases and autoimmune disease because your blood is loaded with all this toxic crap and it's floating all over the place. And if you look at the velocity of the blood going into your heart, it goes up and makes a turn, and it's usually at peak speed right here. So this is where all the heart disease and stuff happens. They get the most inflammation, and that's heart disease. Not the cholesterol, not everything else. They're saying it's an autoimmune response due to stress, due to leaky gut, due to a clogged liver. If you clean your liver out, it's going to filter better, just like when you change the bag on your vacuum cleaner. When your liver is doing all the 226 processes that it's supposed to do, then you live a long, healthy life. So next, there's 6 stressors. So again, cortisol is released due to stress. Physical stress. Everybody here work out? Raise your hand a little bit. So here's the thing for getting rid of physical stress. If you don't work out, work out. If you work out too much, work out less. So we get rid of physical stuff. Another thing with physical is bad posture or an old injury, like an old shoulder injury, hip injury, back injury, neck injury, calf injury, hamstring injury, brain injury. But so I got to do things to make sure I'm not in a chronic pain state because of my injuries. I try to have really good posture and stand tall because when I'm like this, my shoulder gets irritated, causes inflammation, causes stress to the body. So if your posture is off due to an injury or because you're sad and depressed, it's releasing cortisol. So we want to get rid of all that physical stress. Chemical stress. Where do you think we get chemical stress from? Everything. Kind of stupid, scary fact. When you flush the toilet, the debris that's in the toilet travels around 20 feet. It's like vaporized into the air for about 20 feet. So if you have that air-powered one, like we have here, make sure the lid's closed. If you leave it open, you just little crap everywhere. Literally. If you have carpets at your house, those carpets are releasing vapors into the air. That's a form of toxin. It's a plastic. It ups your estrogen. If you have all totally carpeted floors everywhere in your house, you're probably having to have high estrogen over time. The foods that we eat are loaded with chemicals. The air, we're in New Jersey, so let's face it, we're in a toxic environment no matter where we go. You go in the ocean now after the storm, the ocean's totally toxic. So we need to do things that help our body detox. What are the organs in our body that detox? The liver, we sweat, we breathe, we do a whole bunch of different things to detox. So we want to make sure all those things work properly, and we can eliminate as many chemicals as possible by eating healthy, eating organic, eating things we're supposed to eat. Electromagnetic. The more time you spend in front of a computer or a TV, the light that makes the monitor work, when it hits your eyeball and hits your skin, it releases cortisol. So the more time you spend in front of the TV, the more cortisol. And the electromagnetic waves, this is like the new string theory, like my laptop, it's buzzing at a certain rate and it's like doing what it's doing, and it has an electromagnetic field that goes out about 6 or 7 feet. So if I'm over here, my body's getting affected by the laptop. And if I'm really close, it's really getting affected by the laptop. So if you don't want to change how you work out, you don't want to change your diet, at least change how much time you watch TV. Read a book. I just posted on Facebook all the books that I read last year. Start with some of those. So we try to avoid electromagnetic stress. Everybody has heard, you live under the power lines, you get like a tumor. Because living under the power lines is going at like 10,000 hertz, so it's going really, really fast, or cells start growing really fast, and tumor cells start growing really fast. You get cancer from living under the power lines. That's the electromagnetic field stuff. Nutrition we kind of talked about. We're going to talk a lot more about nutrition later, so I'm just going to skip that. Thermal stress. Everybody know what season it is right now? Winter. Most of us live in an environment that's 68 degrees or 65 degrees year-round. To me, it's a stress when we don't let our body get cold, and it's a stress when we don't let our bodies get hot. We live here, New Jersey has 4 seasons. We need to let our bodies have 4 seasons. I was a fish researcher and all about growth and reproduction and all this stuff, and all from that research years ago, it seemed that every animal on the planet, except for us, would become insulin resistant June 21st on until wintertime. So what insulin resistance means is that we start eating more carbs, and our body doesn't bring our blood sugar back down again. Because when our blood sugar goes up high, we start to store more fat. So all the animals on the planet start to store more fat so they can hibernate and have winter. Because in the wintertime now, we should be burning fat like crazy because our metabolism switches. We have like 3 metabolisms in our body. One that burns carbohydrates, one that burns fat and protein. So we need to let our bodies go through the normal thermal cycles if we're in an environment that has normal thermal cycles. If you live at the equator, it's pretty much constant year-round. So it would be stressful for me, that's Irish and German, to go to the equator and live there year-round over time. Because I'm not from there. My body likes, I burn fat like crazy from now until May. Irish and German. That's my body. Likes winter. Likes proteins and fats. In the summertime, no matter what I try to do, I always tend to gain weight. Most people don't realize that they're living the same season all the time. They're always trying to have summer. I argue with vegetarians that, like, if we go down the street to Wall Township and look at the farms, what's growing? Nothing. So how many fruits and vegetables should we be eating right now? In my mind, not that much. The things that I'm eating right now are tons of squash, tons of root vegetables that would survive all winter. I try to avoid potatoes and eat sweet potatoes and yams and stuff like that. Last year, I got some kind of squash. I think it was a butternut squash in October. I didn't eat it until March. It was still fine. And that's the stuff we're supposed to be eating in the winter time. It's a winter, food. There's different nutrients that we're supposed to have in the winter versus the summer. That's a stress to your body when you don't have those things. So if we do hair tissue mineral analysis, or we get all your vitamins and minerals done, and I look at what people have excess of, or what people have deficiencies in, it's usually those summer things and not those winter things. So if we give ourselves winter, we're going to end up being healthy as long as we have summer in summertime. Does that make sense? I avoid the psychic stuff because that's mental, emotional, spiritual things, and if you really want to talk to me about that stuff, I'm open to it, but I don't really do too much with that. Alright, so most of you guys are here to fix these things. So we want to look at hidden internal stressors. So if you're not stressed out because of the life you live, your diet and workout program, everything is working perfectly, and you're still storing body fat around your stomach, look at liver function. I've said that a bunch of times. Look at leaky gut, the small intestine leaking. Food sensitivities to me is a big thing. If I got my wallet, I could show you my card of like 20-something foods I can't have: turkey, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, superfoods that you're supposed to have. I have an immune response to them. I'm not supposed to have those. If you think back, I'm Irish and German. Do you think blueberries and raspberries and all that stuff grow in Ireland or Germany? You know what superfoods are for me? Potatoes, vegetables, and squash on the food sensitivity thing. I have no immune response to that. So food sensitivity to me is a big thing that a lot of nutrition and dietitians, they don't really take into account. And I think that's kind of wrong with what they do for a living. We want to make sure when you're in a stress response that we're not over-exercising. We want to do things that build energy. So you don't want to work out where you feel like crap after. You want to work out when you finish, you're like, man, I feel pretty good. And we want to work on breathing. Everybody take a deep breath right now. All right, I'd say 99% of you went chest up breathing. So it's an inverted breathing pattern. It should be chest doesn't move at all belly breath. We can get 70% of our lung capacity from a diaphragmatic belly breath without our chest moving. Every time your first rib and your collarbone elevate, you're telling your body to release cortisol because you're in a stress state. You're over that 70% lung capacity. You're running away from the cheetah. So when we get stressed out at work, we're usually breathing short breaths that are very high. So you can lower your cortisol by just belly breathing. I've been in a bunch of yoga classes, and the yoga teachers are teaching us wrong. And I'm not a real yogi person. I enjoy it and understand it, but I know that like anything else, has to be done right. Big thing for you're going to see kind of the same things on all these slides because the same holistic thing affects just about everything. Most people that are too stressed don't sleep very well, so you need to work on sleep and recovery. If you can, if you have leaky gut, you have to cut sugar, gluten, dairy, alcohol, caffeine as much as possible, if not totally, for at least 6 or 8 weeks, maybe even 6 months, depending on how bad your leaky gut is. I like to do a lab test of leaky gut so I know how bad it is. If it's over 100 on my test, you may not be on that stuff for a couple of years. If it's in the 50 range, then maybe 6 or 8 weeks and we retest. If it's in the 20s, then it could be 2 weeks. But that's why I like testing. So this way I can measure and remeasure and see how we're doing. So something to consider for the new year. Could be your new thing. So if you got a muffin top, moving on. You look kind of like this. This means your insulin levels are all over the place. So the insulin levels, that means when you eat food, your blood sugar goes up really high, and when your blood sugar hits some threshold, your body releases insulin to make your blood sugar go back down. If your blood sugar goes too high, it's toxic to your brain and other organs. You can die from your blood sugar being too high. So So we want to make sure we look at the protein, fat, and carbohydrate ratios you're eating. Do you think eating a lot of carbs when you have a muffin top is a good thing or a bad thing? It's a blood sugar issue. Those things all contain sugar. Low glycemic vegetables are very good. Balancing out and getting your body to run on fats is one of the ways to get rid of love handles. And I guess proteins, good proteins for every person, no matter when we talk about metabolic type thing, whether you're a carbo type or a protein type, the quality of protein is still there. When you have a muffin top issue or insulin issue, you need to eat more frequently to keep your blood sugar even, because your body is it's called metabolic derangement, where your body's just not functioning properly. So we have to tell it, you know, you're going to eat again, you're going to eat again, you're going to eat again, and it never starts to store fat. So if it doesn't need to store fat because it knows you're going to eat 2 hours or 3 hours from now, it helps correct this insulin response. It helps correct the cortisol response that usually goes with it. So you need to eat 6 times a day or more every 2 or 3 hours to balance your blood sugar out. Because lots of times people, it's like 1 or 2 things with insulin. It's either eat way too much sugar and way too many carbs, or you eat like once a day. So your blood sugar is down all day, and then your body releases cortisol to make it go up. And then when you eat this food, and your blood sugar gets high and it comes crashing down again. So if you're not eating frequently enough, you're going to have the same issue. That could be, you could just have one meal that's all protein and fat, and still give you an insulin response. If you have insulin resistance issue, you either are going to do super duper slow walking as your cardio, or really high intervals as your cardio. Most people, if we go out there and like open up the window and look outside right now, they're jogging, they're doing their 5 miles, and it seems like a good thing. Doing 5 miles, you're at 70%. But it's going to cause your blood sugar to go up, or your blood sugar to go down while you're working out, and then as soon as you're eating, blood sugar is going to go through the roof because your body's releasing cortisol. So the cardio thing is like iffy with somebody with an insulin issue. My trainers know that I'm like the most anti-cardio person ever. Because you get a lot of benefits just from strength training, and most people need to do more strength training. So anybody have a thyroid issue? All right. So if you got a thyroid issue, Dr. Karazian is one of the leading thyroid people. Thyroid people look a certain way. They have truncal, body fat. And guys, I think well, 70% of the time, any hypothyroid or low thyroid is actually an adrenal problem, which is a cortisol problem. So, 7 out of 10 of you that say you had a thyroid problem, it may not be a thyroid problem at all. Most of your glands in your body are responding to something else. So if your adrenals are saying go, 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 go all the time, and your body's starting to wear out, your thyroid will say, oh, slow down a second here. I don't want you to die too soon. So your thyroid will end up slowing down as a response to your adrenals. It's called the HPA-T axis. You Google that, there'll be tons of information on that. So, the things that I said about cortisol, changing your diet, cardio, stuff like that holds true for most thyroid. But some people have real thyroid issues, and they need to do different things. They also need to check your growth hormone if you have a thyroid issue, because that could help you repair and recover from your low thyroid issue. Again, get rid of hidden stressors. You got food sensitivities. Sometimes the thyroid has dysfunction because of toxins again. These toxins you don't even know. Like 2 weeks ago, they drained all the fire hydrants in Manasquan, and on Channel 12 they said, for 2 weeks don't drink the water, don't take showers, don't brush your teeth. Anybody do that? And why wasn't that blasted all over the place? Why didn't we get something in the mail? So I asked my neighbors, like, does your water smell like rotten eggs? And they're like, yeah. I was like, is it brown? They're like, yeah. I wish I had my marine science stuff to do all testing on it. It was disgusting. Like, they didn't do it in Brielle, so I came here and showered and stuff. But, nobody was really aware. They're just like, oh, the water. So you'd be very surprised where some of the environmental toxins come from. I always recommend a whole house filter for people. So no matter what water comes in, you have good water coming out of every spot in your house. Most of these issues, sleep is always the best thing. There's a really good book called Lights Out, thank you, by T.S. Wiley. She's kind of a crazy person. If you ever hear her on the internet get interviewed, but she has tons and tons of research, and it's really cool when you look at how much we used to sleep 100 years ago and the incidence of cancer, it's like 1 in 10,000, and now we sleep on average like 4 hours a night instead of 9.5 to 12 hours. Like we used to 100 years ago before light bulbs. Now it's 1 in less than 2. So like the person next to you, he's either going to have a cancer or a heart issue over time if we don't do something about it. And she's basically saying that most of it can be just tied to sleep. And most of these things are corrected by sleeping. So moving on. Yeah. So like I said before, it's an estrogen issue. Most women kind of look like that apple thing. They're like, oh, it's my genetics. I'm like, oh, no, maybe it's just the food that you're eating, or some other issue that could be corrected. If you have a lot of water bottles that are in plastic, they had the big recall a few years ago, the BPA in the plastic. That could cause your estrogen to go up. For guys, this isn't only a girl's thing. Some of the foods that we eat all the time are loaded with estrogen. Anybody eat soy? That's good. Soy is loaded with estrogen. It's called xenoestrogen. So there's lots of plants in that same group of family, the same family of plants. A lot of the beans and stuff like that have estrogen in it. I try to avoid foods. I like certain beans, but I don't think they're very healthy for us when they're not cooked properly or prepared properly. So if you have an high estrogen issue, we got to look at the estrogen that's in your life. Again, the plastic that's in your carpet, the plastic water that you're drinking, the plastic water bottles, if you're having any soy products, and again, your liver is such a cool organ that if you're a man, your liver will convert your testosterone into estrogen. So if you're having an insulin problem, or your blood sugar is all over the place all day long, it's going to convert your testosterone, which many men have low testosterone, because it's getting converted to estrogen. And in women, it's the opposite. So your estrogen is getting converted into testosterone, which is bad for women. It's supposed to have high testosterone. High testosterone has been linked to breast cancer, and so is high estrogen has been linked to breast cancer and prostate cancer. So there's some cool tricks that you can do to get rid of estrogen. One, detox your liver, obviously, because I've been saying liver is so important. Get rid of all the plastic bottles. Make sure they're BPA-free bottles. If you use Tupperware containers, switch to Pyrex glass containers. Make sure nothing has soy in it. And carrots are really cool. I can't have carrots. I'm sensitive to carrots. So there's other root vegetables that have the same characteristics. That if we look at the time of day, your organs kind of function on a clock. So they have peak activity at different times of the day. When your liver is trying to detox during the day and this insulin thing is happening, it's usually around 2 or 3 p.m. Most people have an energy level 2 or 3 p.m. We can eat a small bowl of carrots, and it's actually going to suck the estrogen out of your bloodstream. And if you do this over time, you can measure it. I did all this testing and parasites and all this other stuff. Don't go to Oktoberfest and come back with parasites. It's my lesson. But I tried this carrots thing to lower my estrogen. That's the only thing that I did, because I was broke after getting all these tests. I took little carrots. And that lowered my estrogen significantly in 4 weeks, back to normal again. I was just like, wow, food is medicine, food is cool. And then I did the food sensitivity test and found out that it shouldn't have carrots, which was kind of a bummer since I thought they were so good for me. Green leafy vegetables are another thing that pull out estrogen. All these things kind of cascade on one another. When we have stress in our body, it messes up all of our hormones. So usually if you're at this estrogen state, you can link back to that first slide where I talked about cortisol. That's usually the first thing that goes off, and it causes a whole cascade of other things to be off. So I always go back to the beginning. If you have an estrogen problem, you probably caused it with a cortisol problem. All of us live highly stressed lives. We try to go, and do everything. But we just slow down. And everybody knows what time management is. Can anybody actually manage time? Do you have any control over that? So don't ever say time management. Say appointment management or activity management. Because you're in control of that. I can say how many sessions I want to do in a day or not. I could do 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I was doing 18-hour days. I chose to do that. And I ended up getting very unhealthy, so I chose not to do that anymore. So we have to look at what causes stress in our life, and activity management is usually a big thing. Anybody got cankles? This is, I don't have cankles, I rarely have. is usually a low growth hormone thing. Growth hormone is linked with catabolism, which is basically your body's breaking down all the time, so it ends up storing more fat to build you up. So we got to look at the HPA axis. This goes back to the same thing. Again, your adrenal glands are the eggs. The adrenal glands are the stress hormone releasers. So we got to look at how you're thinking, how your body's responding to that stress. Again, everybody's going to be affected differently. You could have a stressful day and it messes up your growth hormone. The person next to you can have a stressful day and it messes up their liver. Everybody responds differently. Dr. Oz wants everybody to be on like the same diet. But if you look at the science of every, like I did a lab test on every single one of you, you all had different things going on. How can I give you guys all the same diet? So I think that's pretty stupid, and he's on TV making millions of dollars. And a lot of people like listen to this stuff and think that's the way to go. Oh, Dr. Oz says this. I'm like, I care what Dr. Oz says. Like, he's trying to make money. That's all he's trying to do. So we need to look again at your schedule, how much you're doing, rest and recovery, sleep. All right, so that was the sciencey part. We're done with the sciencey part now, all right? So you guys can all take a breath. So there's lots of other things your body's telling you that are happening all the time, and we're going to go through some of the common things. Cravings. Anybody have cravings for any particular foods? You know, women are common. You know, and if you look at if we compare men as pickup trucks and women as to Ferraris, if we look at their hormones, it works out to be true. Men's hormones are pretty standard. Like, we don't go through any monthly changes, any life changes, you know, as time goes on, menopause, all this stuff. Men, they don't have that. Like, if you got an old pickup truck from like 1975 and you change the oil and fix the brakes, the thing's going to run forever. That's the guy. They run forever. But women are like Ferraris. Like, every 2 weeks they need a tune-up. They need to, be, pampered and waxed. And I didn't mean to actually say waxed. I had to say, like, taking care of them on the outside and stuff. So women tend to have more cravings than men because the hormones are out of balance and changing. That's all I have to say. So these are kind of the top 5 cravings that I hear about all the time. Number 1, caffeine. If somebody needs caffeine every single day, that's a sign of low neurotransmitter. And when I think of low neurotransmitters are the little chemicals in your brain that make you happy or sad. I either think about the supply or demand. So I don't know if you have a limited supply of the things that make your neurotransmitters. Most neurotransmitters are made out of proteins and fats. So if you think about that again, this time of year when people get seasonal adaptive disorder, the sad thing, it's usually because you're not eating enough proteins and fats to make those neurotransmitters to feel good. So you go to caffeine. It's like, oh, that makes me feel good. Next on here is, anybody crave cheese ever? That's usually a sign that you don't have the proper healthy fats in your diet. So we did a blood test of your alpha omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. They're all out of whack. Most of us have had grains in our diets at some point, or eat grains today. If you have any grains, your alpha omega-6s are through the roof, usually 8 times what they're supposed to be. Alpha omega-6 fatty acids cause inflammation. Inflammation is linked to all kinds of rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease, and joint pain and everything else. So if you're craving cheese, then it's usually your body telling you you need healthy fats. Chocolate. Anybody crave chocolate? Chocolate's like the 3rd most dense plant on the planet with magnesium. So if you crave chocolate, you probably need magnesium. Magnesium is needed for your brain and for your hormones. Most people here are magnesium deficient. We did a test. Where do you think magnesium is found? Magnesium, if you look at like the chemical chart, it's a chemical. It's usually from the earth. So we got to think of a soil, or to me as a marine biologist, salt. So we have to look at getting minerals from our sea salt. Salt, to me, sodium chloride, the table salt, is a bad thing. Sodium chloride is toxic. If you look up the MSDS, the materials, safety data, if you look up sodium chloride, it has a whole bunch of toxic things that we're putting on our food all the time. If you look up that, there is none for sea salt because it's a healthy thing. But most people that crave chocolate actually need more sea salt. Anybody have chocolate with sea salt? Awesome. It's great. If you have cravings for sugars and sweets, it's usually because you have low blood sugars, because you have high insulin. We talked about insulin already. Anybody crave pickles? This is not, maternity thing, but, just want pickles. Again, it's usually low minerals. Most people don't absorb minerals because of leaky gut. So if I sound very redundant, it's because it's kind of the same things over and over. So these are the ways to undo that stuff. So we have to look at your amino acid and protein intake that you're having. If you have a digestive issue, I want you to take amino acids. If you don't have a digestive issue, you can take proteins, because amino acids are what make proteins. An increased stress response causes a decrease in your hydrochloric acid. That's the stuff in your stomach that makes you digest. Anybody have heartburn? Nobody's ever had heartburn before? So that is a sign of low hydrochloric acid, not high hydrochloric acid. It's called hypochlorhydria. If you Google it, you're going to find tons and tons of research saying that most of those things are completely the wrong way of doing things. You're trying to take a pill that makes less hydrochloric acid, and if you did a Heidelberg study, which you swallow this pill and it measures the pH of your stomach, your stomach pH is supposed to be 1. When you swallow this pill and it comes out the other end, you stick it in the computer after you take it. The pH is higher than it's supposed to be, and that's because of stress. Stress causes your body to stop making hydrochloric acid. Anybody know what ulcers are made out of? Like what causes ulcers? And somebody won a Nobel Prize. They're made out of a bacterial infection. Helicobacter pylori. That's what causes ulcers. Everybody says, "Oh, it's stress. It's stress." Well, stress causes your body to release cortisol. Cortisol told your stomach to stop producing hydrochloric acid. You eat food that has H. pylori in it. That's how you get an ulcer. It's not because of it's because of the stress. It's not because of the stress. It's because it's a little bugger. If your hydrochloric acid was high, anything that goes in the pH, if I put hydrochloric acid on the floor, it's going to eat through this floor. Our body's really cool that it can actually house something that's a pH 1 and not like deteriorate and come out of her. So we have to look at how we digest proteins and amino acids. If you have this cheese craving or have been doing a low-fat diet for a long time, if you ever look at the authors of books that do the low-fat diets, you look at their pictures now, and when they wrote the books in 1990, their skin is like falling off of their face. I think that's interesting because collagen and the stuff that makes up our skin and keeps it young is made out of fats. So to me, healthy fats are very good for us. Cellulite is like a fat issue. It's a deranged fat because we don't have the right amount of collagen, the stuff that goes in between your fat cells, to make your skin look nice and smooth. And this decrease in collagen causes cellulite. Collagen is a specific type of fatty acid and protein mix. You get it from, anybody make bone broth? It used to be like a thing we used to do a long time ago. You eat the chicken, you take the chicken bones, you boil them, and then you get this gelatin stuff after you boil it. If you use gelatin all the time, you're going to heal your gut, heal your brain, heal all your joints, because most of us have taken glucosamine and MSM. Those are 3 glycosaminoglycans. There's one class of things that are all over collagen and their joints is made out of. If you can picture a sponge, and each one of the holes in a sponge is a glycosaminoglycan, we're giving ourselves 3 out of all those holes that are in the sponge, where collagen, bone broth, is all the holes. So if you fill in all the holes of that sponge, it gets very smooth. It's not so rough anymore. So your joints don't crack. With all the sports stuff I did in my right elbow, and if I don't take collagen twice a day, it just sounds like Rice Krispies. Probably should see something about that, but I just keep having collagen, and it doesn't sound like Rice Krispies. Chocolate's good for you. Get 80% the cacao plant is what makes chocolate. So if you get the 80% or higher chocolate, it's a health food. Chocolate's like a super antioxidant. People that nobody here sells one of these or any of that stuff in fashion right now. Like 1 square of like a really good chocolate bar has 16,000 ORACs. The ORACs are the free radical antioxidant value. So 1 little tiny square of chocolate, which is pretty good, or I can have $120 a month juice that has 1,000% less antioxidants than chocolate. So get good chocolate. It's good for you. If you have 1 square a night, it's a health food. It's a supplement. Tastes good too. Put it in some sea salt, now you're doing something. Sugars and sweets. If you crave sugars and sweets, most of the time we crave this stuff because we've skipped meals and we had a busy day, and you're just like, I need, your body's saying blood sugar's low, I need to raise it, so I'm going to have a peanut butter cup or something. So we have to look at your meal frequency, eat more frequent. Look at how many carbs you're having, how much protein, how much fat, and try to get in balance for you. Everybody's balance is going to be different. If you're craving salty things like pickles and olives, start using more sea salt. Sea salt's good for you. If you're having, I use sea salt in everything. So whatever you're cooking, just put sea salt in it. It tastes good. It's good for you. If you have any heart issues or whatever, sea salt is okay. It has low sodium compared to sodium chloride. So it's not something to be scared of if you have any heart issue. Not a doctor's, don't go suing me because I said that. So how does your body react to the food that you eat? This thing is out of the Paul Chek book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. I still think it's one of the best health and nutrition books on the market. It was written a while ago. There's a lot going on in this picture, so we're going to summarize it real quick. So to me, there are three different kind of meals that you could have. The one at the top has a lot of carbohydrates, very low protein. The one in the middle is very balanced in terms of proteins and carbs, and the one at the bottom has high protein, higher fats, a little bit of carbs. So depending on the person who eats one of these meals, they're going to have one or two responses. It was too many carbs for their body or too much fat and protein for their body. So on here, we look, if you feel lethargic after eating, so this is like the big turkey dinner, within like 15-20 minutes you feel tired, you probably had too much protein and fat. So you need to eat something within 90 minutes or so. That's snack time, meal snack. The snack time that's going to counterbalance and pull you back into that, like, this is called the tachometer. So if you were thinking about your car and the tachometer on your car, how fast the engine is spinning inside, the tachometer went down too low. So you're like stalling, that's why you feel like you're sleeping. So we're going to give yourself something like an apple or something that's more carbohydrates to raise our blood sugar and raise how we're spinning, so we're in a good zone. Does that make sense? Too much protein, counterbalance a little bit later with some carbohydrates. So on the flip side, you can have too many carbs in your meal, and you can get a headache. Some people that I work with that have kids with ADD, you look at what they eat in a day, way too many carbs. I've read tons of stuff by Volta in the Czech Republic. He's one of the leading pediatric doctors in the world. He doesn't think that kids should eat fruits or vegetables or carbs up until about 3 years old. But what are the first foods that we usually give kids? Yeah, wheat and then bananas and all that. Because if you look at the way the brain is growing, the body is growing, it doesn't need carbohydrates, it needs protein and fat. Your brain is made of mostly fat and protein. Your body is fat and protein. I don't have any leaves coming out of me, right? It's not made out of carbs. So depending on, everybody's body is different. You're going to have different reactions. And this doctor says that a lot of ADD in kids are just too many carbs. So you cut the carbs down, lower glycemic foods, and ADD goes away. So if you have too many carbohydrates in your meal, you have a big salad, very little protein. I know for me, I feel great and then I crash. So I need to counterbalance and have more protein and fat. Before I did this talk, I was swallowing coconut oil. I could put it in my mouth, let it melt, and then swallow it down. Because I know that revs me up. It gives me an increased thyroid response. The medium-chain triglycerides that are in coconut oil speed up your metabolism. Who doesn't want to speed up their metabolism? Everybody does. So the foods we eat and how we react, your body's telling you this stuff all the time, but usually we're too busy to sit down and how do I feel after eating this meal? Do I feel tired? Too much protein and fat? Or do I feel like, okay, I was hyper 10 minutes ago, and now I feel like crap. So 10 minutes ago, hyper, that's too many carbs. Most people this time of year, winter time, are having way too many carbs. Almost done. So what else is your body trying to tell you? Anybody here have back pain, shoulder pain, anything else? I was seeing a chiropractor, and he was trying to adjust my back right here, and he was like jumping on me, trying to get that thing to crack. The chiropractors, when you hear that noise, when you hear pop. And for years this was going on, And I knew I had hip issues from track and shoulder issues from different injuries and neck issues from 2 car accidents. But what the heck was going on in the middle? When I did all the lab testing and figured out that I had, when I figured out that I had a parasite, I had 3 different parasites in my gut. Again, from going Oktoberfest, eating bad sport, 3 pork knuckles in a day, not a good thing. So if you look at the organ that's at this level and the nerves that come around it, it ends up that thing was linked up to my spleen. Your spleen is in charge of like immune system response. So my immune system was trying to fight this parasite all the time for about 2.5 years. As soon as I started doing that parasite protocol to get rid of what I had, within 2 weeks, pop, like nothing. Like everybody's like, oh, I did a magical job. I'm like, you didn't do anything. You've been working on this for 2 years. It's like I had a parasite. I started to kill the parasite. I had a decreased immune response. The spleen stopped working overtime. So my spleen was working like crazy, working like crazy, working like crazy. Told those muscles to like hold on tight, and that's why I couldn't release from that chiropractic adjustment. So when people come to see me and they have hip pain or back pain, I'm really trying to think about what organs are at that level, because if we think in evolutionary terms, like we didn't have arms and legs and all this fancy stuff, you know, one single cell organism to multi-cell organisms, worms and stuff like that. If we go up the evolutionary ladder, you know, our arms and legs are slave to our organs. You know, I can chop off my leg and live. I can't like live without a spleen for very long. And if you look at your back, it kind of looks like a piano in terms of like what things are playing, what things are out of tune, and what things are in tune. So, anybody have low back pain? So when I have somebody with low back pain, I need to look at all the organs that are associated with you know, your lower back. So that's your colon, your kidneys, your prostate, your testes, your ovaries, and your bladder. Because your back pain may just be that. It may not be like if you have an injury, like a neck injury. So, you know, that caused my neck pain. But nothing that I really did that was acute ever hurt my mid back. Like my mid back seemed fine. And as soon as I got rid of the parasite, that adjusted fine, my posture changed. I had a very straight spine for a long time. I measured it myself. I had checked people, like different people measuring it, a very straight spine, which isn't good. It's supposed to be rounded, you know, at a certain degree. When I got rid of the parasite, it went back to normal posture. Everything was working correctly. You know, somebody once asked me, like, you know, why do I pull my left hamstring all the time? I'm like, well, you know, your left side leg to me is associated with your descending colon. So you probably need to do a colon cleanse, or you don't poop all enough. And he's like, oh, I poop like every 3 days. I'm like, well, that's not good. You're supposed to poop every day. Yeah. So to fix his hamstring, you know, I sent him to a physical therapist, whatever, to help his hamstring. But, you know, I really wanted to attack, like, you know, his colon, get his body moving and flushing out. And his hamstring will get better because of the nervous energy that comes from your nervous system. You know, it goes down to his leg and heals it properly. His hip angles changed when we fixed his diet and all this other stuff. So we really got to look at and listen to what our body is saying. So before I said, you know, the psychic stuff, so now we're going to talk about the psychic stuff. So 33,000 years ago, Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, the Vedas, kind of found different energies at different levels of our body, and they call those chakras. I'm not going to call those chakras today because it's harder to say than zones. I'm going to say zones, okay? So if we look at the different zones, there's 1 through 7 at the top. These things are associated with different emotions that we have. You know, I'm a scientist. I'm very black and white, and when people were talking to me about this, I'm like, this is crap. Like, you know, where's the science? Well, Stanford University professors proved that your emotions, kind of, if you look at on whatever machine that they're using, kind of goes like this. So when you're thinking happy thoughts, your happy looks like this. So there's different organs that function at this frequency, and they're associated at different levels in your body. So again, if you have a dysfunctional organ because of leaky gut and stress and stuff, you may end up have a dysfunctional emotional pattern because of the organ, or vice versa. You can have, you know, some mental stress, and if you're angry, it goes to your liver. If any of you ever needed a liver transplant, don't get somebody that was pissed off all the time and you're a happy, nice person, because when they give you that liver, you're going to be angry all the time. That's been proven. I forget what book it was in, I can find it for you, but I mean, it's proven. It happens all the time. You get, you know, transplants, like somebody, you know, was a very angry, mean person and needed a new heart, and they get somebody that's, you know, a very nice person, a very, you know, happy person, they get the new heart. Oh my God, this isn't my husband. Like, who is this person? Their emotional state changed because our organs actually house different emotions. So again, if I have somebody with back pain, I got to look at the emotions tied into that back pain. So that's usually survival and safety. So survival and safety. Today, you know, we're going to the gym and personal training sessions. Most of us are surviving pretty good. But whenever we stress out about money, that's survival. That's the biggest measurement of survival today is money and wealth. So if you have any financial issues, that could cause your back pain. That could cause your digestion not to work right. If you go back, like all those different organs that I put there, the colon, the kidneys, the prostate. Anybody know somebody with prostate cancer, how to deal with prostate cancer, uterine cancer, bladder cancer? You know, some of the science is saying that, you know, we got to look at the stress of finances. So after tonight, go figure out all your finances, get that stuff straight, so you don't have to deal with those issues over time. You know, there's somebody out there that does that for a living. Let them do their job. You know, I stressed out about money for a long time because I avoided doing all that stuff. My parents were happy at doing money stuff, you know, so I followed in their habits and ended up being their parents over time. And I was super duper stressed out over money. And then I actually sat down with somebody, read some books, got educated. Because when I sat down with the guy who was like, "What's your revenue and your profits and all this stuff?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that means. Like, I'm a marine scientist. I don't know that stuff." But I got educated through, you know, those things. So I don't have that much issues in terms of survival. I know tomorrow I'm going to wake up and feel fine. I know I'm probably not going to get the flu because, you know, I'm not stressing out about money. Does that make sense? There's another cool thing. I said that your liver is tied to anger. The people that are angry and have a right shoulder issue, you know, I've never had somebody with a right shoulder issue that didn't have a liver issue. I wasn't angry at somebody or angry at something. I forget what it is on the other side. Anybody know anatomy? There's another organ at that level that's on that side. I think it is your pancreas. Anyway, it's in Chinese medicine stuff. I'm not a Chinese medicine guy, go to a Chinese medicine doctor. But when I look at these things, you know, I try to know who I need to refer out to and what to think about. I can tell you when I hurt my shoulder, I just dislocated my shoulder, bone sticking through the skin, needed surgery, all that stuff. I didn't talk for like weeks. And then, you know, my wife now, girlfriend at the time, was like, "Why aren't you saying anything?" Like, "I don't know, just shut up. Like, I don't want to talk." You know, and now when I like look back, I'm like, "Oh, duh." It's like the shoulder is linked to communication. That's why, you know, that's why I can talk. If you have a neck issue, it's usually because you want to get something off your throat. You want to talk to somebody. Does that make sense? You know, I have people all the time that like, you know, we're doing an exercise, like, "Oh, my neck." You know, I ask them, "Oh, you know, how's the relationship with your husband doing?" or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, that mother effer, blah, blah, blah," and, you know, and then like they can keep doing the exercise and the neck doesn't hurt anymore. You know, so your body's always trying to tell you these things. Again, the back pain, leaky gut. This is a great picture of what leaky gut is. Weak food that passes in between the little cells in your small intestine ends up in your blood. Your immune system is responding to these things. Obviously, you don't want a banana going into your blood. So your immune system responds, and it responds a lot. So if you look at your stomach and you stick your finger in your belly button, if your stomach sticks out below the belly button a lot, you usually have this inflammation in your small intestine. So think about how much small intestine you have. It's anywhere between 18 and 40 feet. The average, they say, is 20 feet. Again, this is, if you get into metabolic typing, the average is 20 feet. All of you here don't have a 20-foot small intestine. Some have a very long intestine, some have a very small intestine, a very short intestine. But you know, if you average 20 feet of some little tiny tube that gets really big, you know, your guts start to hang out a little bit. So when I look at somebody's body from the side and their belly's hanging out from below the belly button, they have leaky gut. Whether, you know, they want to do the lab test or not, I know I need them to fix leaky gut. And if it's not leaky gut, it could be parasites. Dysbiosis, that's the pictures on the left. That's like a fungal overgrowth. So that's the wrong bacteria in your gut. Anytime you do an antibiotic, you're causing the good bacteria to die and the bad bacteria to die. And which ones do you think grow back the fastest? The good ones or the bad ones? The bad ones. So you end up looking, you know, like this. There's no thing out there like, you know what a colonoscopy is? That's your large intestine. You can't look in your small intestine. The only way to test it is to test your immune system. And that's a saliva test, or a test, one or the other. So if I ever run like it's called a mucosal membrane barrier test, you know, we're looking at the immune response, and then they test how your immune responds to proteins that are found in worms, proteins that are found in fungus, proteins that are found in different bacteria. And if your immune system is responding like crazy, then I know that, like, okay, bacterial infection, fungal infection, or a worm or something. I had 2 different protists, which are single-celled animals, and a fungal overgrowth that was like crazy. But I did all the verticals, and once you have a fungal overgrowth and leaky gut, you usually have a systemic fungal problem. So anybody ever had athlete's foot? That's a systemic fungal problem. It didn't come from your shoes, it came from the inside going out. Your feet are a huge detoxing pathway, and you sweat a lot through your feet. So, wearing shoes all the time, not changing your socks, as gross as it sounds, it doesn't cause athlete's foot. It's what's coming out of your body through your feet that causes athlete's foot. It's that fungus that's in your small intestine trying to come out. It's circulating through your blood. Some people get alopecia on their, like the little balding spots on their head. It looks like a little circle, ringworm, all that stuff. Leaky gut. So, we're really going to look at the little microbes in our body. And again, the only reason these things would be allowed in our body is stress. It's the decreased hydrochloric acid in our stomach, so it doesn't kill everything that goes into our stomach, which then goes into the small intestine. Usually it ends up being financial stress, safety, or sustenance. So if you're starving yourself all the time and only eating 1 meal a day, you may end up getting a parasite. There's parasites around us all the time, but if your immune system is low because of whatever, and your whatever stress is in your life, then you're susceptible to these things. Alright, anybody wake up in the middle of the night? Alright, so your organs run on a clock throughout the day. This is the clock. Anybody wake up at 3 in the morning? Yeah, so what time? You gotta look at what time you wake up. You wake up at 3 in the morning, that's liver, gallbladder, or your lungs. I have asthma, so if I'm like, around somebody that smokes, or the different pine trees calling me that an asthma attack, it usually happens at like 4 in the morning, like clockwork. I wake up and I can't breathe, because that's when your body's trying to repair itself, and it's so stressed out, it can't repair itself, it tends to spaz out. I have tons of people that wake up between 1 and 3 in the morning, and so I was like, oh, you need to do liver detox, you need to stop drinking alcohol, you probably have leaky gut, that's probably what's causing your liver not to work right. And there's different products and things that you can do to fix these things. Most of it is just a good diet, sleep, working out the right amount. So I like for people to stop guessing and start testing. So there's a number of tests you can do. There's questionnaires that you can fill out. There's laboratory tests that are kind of expensive, but some people like myself are like, I want to know, do I have that thing or do I not have that thing? I don't want that like Western hokey pokey. Maybe you have this, I feel your chi, maybe this is going on. Tell me what species I have so I can kill it. It's expensive, but you fix it because you know exactly what's wrong. I think of that as I'm getting to the root cause of the issue and then fixing all the effects that I'm feeling every day. Another good thing is the questionnaires and the lab tests are all measurable, so we quantify a number and we can measure it over time to see if it's getting better or worse. So having these goals and some motivation and some commitment equals success. So we've had lots and lots of success stories over time. The questionnaires are metabolic typing and physiological load questionnaires. This is like how much your body's physiology can handle or is handling right now. So if you're really stressed, your number's really high. If you're not really stressed, your number's really low. And then the metabolic typing deals with a whole bunch of stuff. Sean's does that. It takes like a week to fill out all the questions. So you eat certain foods and measure your eyes and look at your teeth. It's pretty cool. It's not cheap, but we're running a special on it. If you want to do it, you can talk to Sean. The laboratory testing is normally $150 for my consultation fee. And then the lab tests. There's different lab tests. I mean, the cheapest lab test is $40. It can tell me a lot. It's the hair tissue mineral analysis. You cut out a little bit of hair. It's going to tell me if you're absorbing minerals, if you're having low hydrochloric acid, or if anything's out of whack. So there's different minerals that absorb or diffuse in our bodies that are associated with adrenal fatigue or with thyroid, and they all show up on this $40 test. So they don't all have to be super expensive. And there's $50 off of that. So if you want to achieve optimal wellness and live a long life medication-free, you need to figure out what's wrong. If you have something wrong, do something about it. And like I said, stop guessing and start testing. Thank you guys for listening to me. If you have any questions, shoot.